Welcome to the Academic Success Crash Course series presented by the Office of Academic Skills at Washington College. Today's video is about test anxiety, and we'll go into detail about how to overcome anxiety surrounding test taking. So, what is test anxiety? Test anxiety can be before, during, or after an exam, and is usually the product of fear of failure to be more specific. While a little bit of anxiety can be motivating, too much can hinder your academic performance. When you experience a high level of anxiety, you can expect negative side effects that can make it hard to focus and learn. The anxiety can affect your mind, body, and behavior. Symptoms such as irritability, restlessness, nausea, shortness of breath, or a fast heartbeat are just a few examples of physical effects. You may also experience mental blocks, such as going blank on an exam. When you're overwhelmed, it's hard to access the information you need in your brain if you can't focus. The good news is, there are certain things you can do to reduce the amount of test anxiety that you experience. Let's start with before the exam. The first thing you can do is study. It may seem obvious, but how you study matters. Studying smart means you're setting yourself up for success. You can do this by making a study plan, avoiding procrastination, and working in a distraction-free environment. You also want to make sure that you're preparing thoroughly. Make sure you review all material and decide what needs to be memorized and what needs to be understood. Lastly, practice. There are many ways you can do this, and it depends on the testing format. But one way to do this is by making a practice exam and testing yourself. Another thing you can do before the exam is make a study plan. When you have a plan and stick to it, you'll be more prepared than if you crammed the night before. To do this, use the 5-day countdown. 5 days before the exam, complete all reading assignments. 4 days before, review reading notes, write down any questions you have, and make your own study guide. 3 days before the exam, review vocabulary terms. 2 days before the exam, you should organize, outline, and review lecture notes. Also look at your instructor's study guide if they give you one. And the day before the exam, concentrate on problem areas and review all information. After that, relax. It's also important to practice good habits leading up to the exam. For example, a good night's sleep is vital to proper brain function. If you become sleep deprived, you're only hurting yourself. You can also exercise. Not only is it good for you, but it can help reduce your anxiety and keep your mind clear. Along with exercise, it's important to eat a healthy diet. Junk food can make you feel tired or slow, which is not good for studying. Instead, eat something protein-rich to help fill you up, and avoid sugary and starchy foods before an exam. Sugar and starch require a lot of energy to digest and can make it difficult to concentrate. You can also participate in positive self-talk. Visualize yourself doing well on the exam and put the test into perspective. Another good habit before the exam is to relax. How you do this depends on the individual, but some examples are meditation, a hot shower, or reading a book you enjoy. Next, let's discuss what to do during an exam to reduce your anxiety. If your anxiety becomes overwhelming during the exam, slow down and breathe. If you rush, you'll only make mistakes, especially when your brain can't focus due to being overwhelmed. So take a few minutes to pause, close your eyes, breathe, and engage in positive reinforcement. Once you've built your self-confidence back up and have a clearer mind, begin taking the test again. Also, don't let confusion raise your anxiety levels. Instead, you should always ask questions if you're confused by something on the exam. By asking, you can get clarification, or maybe point out an error on the exam itself. It's also important to utilize test-taking strategies. If you know certain things, such as multiple choice or essay questions, give you anxiety, there are strategies you can use to overcome that. For more information regarding test-taking strategies, please see an academic skills tutor. Test anxiety doesn't always end after the exam for some students. If you find yourself stressed after the exam because you're fearful of failure, there are a few things you can do. First, you should combat negative thoughts. Decide if your fears are realistic or not, and engage in positive self-talk. Second, you should manage your daily stressors. And lastly, give yourself time to relax. To summarize, There are different strategies that you can use before, during, and after an exam. These include studying smart, practicing good habits, using positive reinforcement, using test-taking strategies, and more. If you would like to go into more detail, please visit the Office of Academic Skills webpage and make an appointment with an academic skills tutor.